Good evening, everyone. And coming up, your latest First Alert Doppler radar along with your weekend forecast and all the details on how you can win a vehicle to help a local organization.
And also coming up, President-elect Joe Biden says goodbye to his hometown and hello to D.C. for the next 4 years. And Augusta commissioners again discuss their decision on alcohol licenses for local businesses.
Plus, the country is stopping to remember those who lost their lives to COVID-19, including those right here in Augusta. Your news and weather on Fox 54 starts now.
Your local news 1 hour earlier. WFXG Fox 54 News Now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Mark Blaine.
And I'm Courtney Hicks. With Inauguration Day tomorrow, both President Trump and President-elect Joe Biden had reflections to share with the American public. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan is in Washington with more.
Wednesday marks day one of what President-elect Joe Biden says will be a busy first 100 days in office. A night before his inauguration, Joe Biden paid tribute to the more than 400,000 Americans who have died from coronavirus.
It's hard sometimes to remember, but that's how we heal. It's important to do that as a nation.
The pandemic forced the inauguration to go mostly virtual, and the guest list is down from the typical 200,000 to about 1,000. Biden's top legislative priority is COVID relief, and during her confirmation hearing, Treasury Secretary nominee Janet Yellen urged Congress to pass another package.
Without further action, we risk a longer, more painful recession now.
The security in D.C. is like a fortress, with fencing, roadblocks, and 25,000 National Guard members. The FBI vetted every one and removed 12 from duty because of right-wing or extremist views.
The Secret Service, the FBI, and others are going to vet any individuals that are going to have close proximity or to have access to some of these sensitive locations around D.C.
In a farewell address released by the White House, President Trump says he's praying for the next administration's success, but also had this message.
The world respects us again. Please don't lose that respect.
Fox News has learned Vice President Pence is not going to President Trump's send-off at Joint Base Andrews. Instead, he plans to attend the inauguration. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
And you can watch the presidential inauguration live on our Fox 54 Facebook page and website. That's WFXG.com. We will also stream President Trump's departure, set to take place around 8:15 in the morning.
With the presidential inauguration on tap tomorrow, we spoke with a political science expert at Augusta University about what lies ahead for us as a country. For starters, Dr. Craig Albert says President-elect Biden won one of the most heated races in history in defeating President Trump, who balked at conceding that he lost the election and attempted to overturn the results in the courts. Dr. Albert says this could set a dangerous precedent for American politics. Dr. Albert also believes with so much division in the country, Biden has his work cut out in moving the country forward over the next 4 years.
In his speeches prior to the last couple of weeks, he's been saying that his whole message will be a unified America, a one voice America. So that's going to be a tough message to sell. And it's unclear whether the Republicans and those on the right will take that message. But it appears as though President Biden at that point is going to set that forth.
Dr. Albert added that Biden's first order of business once he takes office will be to overturn some of the Trump administration's policies, which is normal operating procedure when a new administration takes over the White House.
Back here at home, Augusta commissioners took a step back today and made revisions to the measure that refunds alcohol license fees. The hope was to bring relief to restaurants and bars under pandemic restrictions that had to shut down last year. Commissioners voted to now only waive the fees for bars and restaurants who had to shut down due to the pandemic. Originally, the refund was to be given to businesses that paid in full or paid any portion of the 2021 alcohol license fees. The original measure included packaging stores, big box stores, and convenience stores. Many commissioners now say that that shouldn't have been the case.
Augusta commissioners also took up the issue that some public safety workers were unable to use their vacation hours last year due to work demands or staff shortages. Commission members discussed several alternatives to ensure workers don't lose out on money and hours that's owed to them. Commissioner Ben Hassan says public safety workers have been a vital part of providing service to the community during the pandemic, and it's important they're treated fairly.
We want to find a way to compensate them in the most reasonable fashion, but without, just put them in a bad position or make them become a disgruntled employee. So I think at the end of the day, the administrator will bring something back that we all be satisfied with.
The city administrator will present recommendations to the commission at the next meeting set for February 2nd.
Well, good evening. Here we are. A lot of this is not actually reaching the ground there out of the Modoc area up by the lakes. Other than that, it was a gorgeous day across the area. We look for abundant amount of sunshine. We got that. We look for warmer temperatures. We got that also. And dry conditions. The latest in our first alert Doppler radar indicating and showing you we do have those dry conditions continuing. Evans Town Center, this is what it looked like around 3 p.m. this afternoon, doing a time lapse all the way into our sunset this evening. Lights are lighting up. Beautiful evening turn out to be. And right now, the temperatures are still in the 50s in a few spots. 54 degrees in McCormick, 50 in Waynesboro. We have 53 in Aiken and 51 degrees around the Thompson area. For tonight, we will be partly cloudy. 45 in Evans to 41 in Millen, 43 degrees there around the Aiken area, and Washington of 42. Look at the trend the next 7 days. 49 degrees for Thursday night into early Friday morning, but that's nothing. Look at next week and Monday, the overnight temperature of nearly 60, and then dropping back down Tuesday night into 42. So here's our hourly forecast coming up at 11 p.m. of 44, 5 a.m. of 48, 50 at 9, and 55 by 11. Back to our news. Here's Mark.
Jay, thank you very much. Once Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is sworn in tomorrow, she'll swear in Georgia's 2 new senators, Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, during the Senate session. Warnock will become just the 11th black senator in U.S. history and the first to serve in Georgia. The Senate's swearing in will take place at the U.S. Capitol at 4:30 in the afternoon. Fox 54 plans to stream it live on our Fox 54 Facebook page and on our website, WFXG.com.
And speaking of Georgia, the state has more than doubled its reported vaccinations for a second straight week in a row. Now, according to Governor Kemp's office, the Department of Public Health reported an increase from nearly 300,000 to just over 423,000. Governor Kemp says that, quote, while supply for the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 remains extremely limited, these numbers show encouraging progress in our efforts to work through backlogs in provider reporting and get Georgians vaccinated quickly and safely. Governor Kemp also thanked Publix and Kroger for their efforts in vaccinating Georgia residents. And Publix pharmacies on Washington Road in Evans and on Fury's Ferry Road are offering COVID-19 vaccinations to Phase 1A groups and those 65 and older. The Publix in Aiken County is also offering the vaccine at their location on East Gate Drive in Aiken and on East Martintown Road in North Augusta. All Kroger pharmacies are also offering vaccinations if you fit the categories. You must make an appointment, and both stores are offering vaccinations for no cost. For a link to make an appointment, head over to our WFXG.com website.
And in South Carolina, the Hospital Association says it's aggressively ramping up vaccination efforts. As of today, over 121,000 people in the state have received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. However, when Governor Henry McMaster paid a visit to the Conway Medical Center in Myrtle Beach today, he admitted the distribution process is not where it needs to be.
But we have got to use up every single dose of this vaccine that comes into the state. It is not being done now. We're not moving fast enough, but we're as of just yesterday or the day before, I think it is very clear what we can do and what we must do.
The governor's visit to the medical center comes as the Department of Health and Environmental Control confirmed nearly 2,600 new COVID cases today.
A nationwide remembrance was held today for those who lost their lives to COVID-19.
President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration committee organized a ceremony in Washington, D.C., while locally, Augusta city leaders hosted a virtual ceremony. Fox 54's Sydney Moore joins us now live in downtown Augusta with the details. Good evening, Sydney.
Good evening, Mark and Courtney. It's a tough time for the nation as we reflect on those who lost their lives to COVID-19. And here in Augusta, over 200 people died from the disease. Now, Mayor Hardy Davis and the CSRA Good Trouble Coalition came together and gave honorable remarks to families of those who have died. Community members from church groups, businesses, and other organizations were also in attendance and were encouraged to ring bells and light candles.
Little did any of us know we would be facing an enemy we could not see, an enemy that would attach itself to the lives of loved ones, co-workers, friends, neighbors across this state, across this city, and quite frankly, across this nation and the globe.
While the pandemic brought on many hardships, Mayor Hardy Davis also spoke on the hurdles the city was able to jump over in spite of.
We found ways to turn negatives into good. And we also have looked for opportunities to bring new skills on. And that's so important. We found ways to travel to less congested places, to meet friends with covered faces. All of that happened in the year 2020.
The local virtual ceremony also showed live clips from the COVID remembrance that was held in D.C. In case you missed it, I posted a link on our website, WFXG.com, for you to check it out. Live in downtown Augusta, Sydney Moore, Fox 54 News Now.
Well, we're just getting started for this evening. It turned out to be a beautiful day. Here's the stats for today. We got up to 66 degrees, but we started off a very cold 26, and the record was 12 degrees on this date. We're back with your 7-day forecast in a moment.
If you're looking for a job, there's a couple of local hiring events you should know about. We'll bring you the details in about 10 minutes. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Your local news 1 hour earlier. WFXG Fox 54 News Now.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us tonight on Fox 54 News at 10. I'm Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Mark Blaine. The nation has hit a once unthinkable pandemic milestone, surpassing 400,000 deaths from COVID-19. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Siri takes a look at what's behind the spike in cases and what states are doing to speed up their vaccine rollout.
A dozen counties in California are reporting infections involving a new COVID-19 strain, different from one first found overseas. Research from Cedars-Sinai shows the variant has been found in more than 1/3 of new cases in Los Angeles and could be contributing to a surge of infections in Southern California. Researchers say they're looking at whether this mutation can impact a vaccine's performance.
There have yet to be any mutations that have been shown to affect the vaccine efficacy. Everyone that has the ability to go get a vaccine should go get a vaccine.
The new strain comes as states scramble to expand their vaccine supply. Pfizer rejected New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's request to buy doses directly from the company, saying he first needed to seek federal permission. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says while his city is vaccinating people faster, it is set to run out of doses after Thursday.
It is up to the federal government, it's up to the state, it's up to the manufacturers to do everything they can to get us the maximum supply.
Meanwhile, the pandemic continues to strain health systems as a winter surge takes effect. Coronavirus deaths are rising in at least 30 states. Public health officials warning folks that mask wearing and social distancing remain essential.
People who think that because they've received a vaccine that they can walk around and be entirely safe are probably misleading themselves.
Arizona currently has the highest infection rate in the U.S., followed by California and Rhode Island. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox 54 News Now.
A reminder now, Richmond County Schools are teaming up with Shepherd Community Blood Center in an effort to help with the local blood shortage. This Friday, January 22nd, a blood drive will be held at C.T. Walker Magnet School located on Wrightsboro Road. It will run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. All donors will receive a Shepherd t-shirt. If you'd like to donate blood, you'll need to bring a photo ID or a Shepherd donor card, and you must be in good health and be at least 17 years old. For more information on how to make an appointment, head to our website, WFXG.com.
All right, deep breath. Let's shift gears for a moment. Time to check in with the chief for tonight's forecast on into tomorrow morning and inauguration day. And you talked a little earlier about D.C. and they're going to be chilly but sunny, yeah?
Yeah, so we got sunny skies there for you. Of course, really nice. I hope you guys enjoyed today because it wasn't bad at all. Not really a cloud in the sky. We had those 60-degree temperatures in the month of January. Can't imagine what February and March is going to look like. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Here we are, folks, and thank you so much for joining us. Our first alert Doppler radar is up and running, all 5 sites, and we're pretty much quiet and dry there for you, including the Florida Panhandle area into Interstate, say, 75. Downtown Augusta looked really nice around 3 p.m. A little bit on the hazy side there momentarily, but not really a cloud in the sky. And then here comes our sunset for the evening. Oh, isn't that something? It was just really nice there for you. So the most part there for you, looking to have much of the same again for tomorrow. But on top of that, we have a little bit more of the cloud cover. The temperatures, if you step outside, we are still facing the 50s in a few spots. 40s are closer to the south and east, like Allendale, 45. They'll get down to 42 for it tonight. 42 degrees in Washington and 43 around Columbia, South Carolina. I've got to show you the temperature trend for overnight temperatures. These are not the highs. How about 60 degrees overnight for Monday night into early Tuesday morning? So here's the hourly forecast. I'll step out 1 a.m. of 45, cloudy skies and 46 at 5, and sunshine at 9 a.m. and 49. Courtney, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jay. Authorities in Aiken have arrested 4 more suspects in connection to a shooting at a nightclub last year. 27-year-old Monisha Courtney, 36-year-old Lasagna Howard, 33-year-old Emmanuel O'Neill, and not pictured is 23-year-old Ty Kendron Creech. They were all arrested in connection to the November shooting at the 7th Lounge on Richland Avenue that killed 1 and injured 18. Officials say Creech is currently being held in the Richmond County Detention Center, and Courtney is being held in West Palm Beach, Florida, pending extradition. O'Neill and Howard were taken to the Aiken County Detention Center and booked.
The owner of a car lot in Augusta is urging people to drive safe and slow down at the intersection of Gordon Highway and Old Savannah Road. His plea comes following a deadly crash there yesterday near his car lot. According to the coroner's office, 41-year-old John Hall was killed after he lost control of his vehicle, hitting a telephone pole and parked cars in the Dean Auto sales lot. The owner of the car lot, James Dean, says he's seen incidents like this near his car lot on a regular basis.
It's the same thing, constant. When they go around that curve, they lose control of the car. And, they just really need to pay attention and slow down. That's a bad part of the road.
Dean says this is the first fatal crash that's happened outside his dealership, but since September, there have been 6 car crashes on his property, totaling more than 20 of his cars.
And there was another fatal overnight crash on Gordon Highway that killed 2 people. The crash happened around 1:30 a.m. on Gordon Highway and Wilds Road. According to authorities, the driver was traveling westbound when control of the car was lost. It then flipped several times, causing the driver and passenger to be ejected. 29-year-old Kayla Harris and 34-year-old Uncle Ivy, both of Thompson, were killed. This makes the second deadly crash on Gordon Highway in less than 12 hours.
And the Richmond County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly shooting in Augusta early this morning. According to investigators, 2 men were shot in the area of the Allen homes in the 1100 block of Peters Road at around 12:15 this morning. 24-year-old Jerome Bates was pronounced dead at the scene. Deputies later discovered a second victim had been taken to a local hospital by a private vehicle where he was being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities have not yet identified any suspects. If you have any information, you're urged to contact the Sheriff's Office.
And the president-elect and future First Lady have arrived in D.C. Karen Katha is in Washington with the latest on the Biden inauguration and President Trump's plans to pardon over 100 people.
Outside the White House, a Marine stands guard, a sign Donald Trump is working in the Oval Office during the final hours of his presidency.
As I conclude my term as the 45th President of the United States, I stand before you truly proud of what we have achieved together.
President Trump is expected to issue more than 100 pardons and commutations. A source close to the process says dozens of the final acts of clemency were championed by criminal justice reform advocates.
Senate will come to order.
The Senate, meanwhile, holding confirmation hearings for Biden cabinet nominees, including 2 who will be key to the new administration's efforts to confront domestic extremism. Secretary of Homeland Security nominee Alejandro Mayorkas.
I will do everything I can to ensure that the tragic loss of life, the assault on law enforcement, will not happen again.
And Director of National Intelligence nominee Avril Haines.
That when it comes to intelligence, there is simply no place for politics ever.
After a transition delayed by the Trump administration, Biden's administration will have no confirmed cabinet members by Inauguration Day.
I am concerned about this delay, and it's why, the Senate's going to need to move very quickly.
The president-elect today making a trip he's made many times before.
It's kind of emotional for me.
This time to take over the presidency. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Sad news from the baseball world. Hall of Fame pitcher and longtime Atlanta Braves announcer Don Sutton has died. Sutton's son Darren made the announcement on Twitter this afternoon, saying his father died in his sleep last night. Sutton, a 300-game winner, pitched for 23 seasons. He broke in with the Dodgers before going on to play for the Astros, Brewers, Angels, and Athletics. He was inducted into Cooperstown in 1998. After his playing days, Sutton spent 28 seasons calling games on both TV and radio for the Braves. Don Sutton was 75 years old.
And Mark, I know you have direct ties to not only this loss, but the loss of Lasorda as well a little earlier in the month. Talk a little bit about your connection and how much of a hit this is for not only baseball in general, but the Dodgers organization.
Yeah, you're right. We lost Tommy just the other week, and now Don. Yeah, I grew up watching Don Sutton. Pitch, and 300-game winner. I actually got to meet him. I never talked to him while he was playing, but I got to meet him in '98, the year he was elected to the Hall of Fame. And a lot of people wondered, when are you going to get in? Because he got in on the 5th try. So that was kind of a big story. And we caught up with him out on the golf course in the Palm Springs area. He lived in Rancho Mirage. I actually lived in Rancho Mirage myself at the time, so we weren't exactly neighbors, but we got to know each other a little bit. And yeah, a great guy. And we're losing all these legendary players that some of us grew up.
And most recently, he was announcer for the Braves.
Almost 30 years with the Braves. Yeah.
Wow.
And he's in the Braves Hall of Fame.
Big loss there.
Yeah.
Thanks for that perspective.
Sure.
We appreciate that.
All right, we're going to switch gears here for you momentarily. Here's our weather almanac for the precipitation. None for today. For the month, we're at even 3 inches, and for the year, we are about 3 inches. We're back with your 7-day forecast right after this.